Hey, what's up, guys? So this is going to be a 10-minute motorcycle tour around downtown Pucallpa. Just going to show a little bit of the downtown area, just show you, get a feel for what it's like here. Basically, we're on the edge of the jungle. A lot of the vehicles on the road are all motorcycles, and what you see in front here. Here we call those motor cars, but in Asia you probably call them tuk-tuk. And so they're pretty much all over the road. One thing I'll tell you is that we do not stop for stop signs here. We have stop lights that are generally green in two directions at one time, and it's just whoever can get there first. And we don't observe lanes or lines. So pretty much you have a 2-lane road here, you'll have 3 vehicles wide, just weaving in and out. So you can see the stop sign here, but nobody really stop at that. The stop lights they'll observe in the daytime or in downtown, but at night they won't observe them at all. So you have to be very careful here and just kind of learn to drive the way that they do. This is my Volkswagen. I want to get this one eventually. Up here, coming up on my left side here, is going to be my favorite chifa. That's a Chinese Peruvian fusion food right here. This is my favorite one in town, chifa. So as you notice, a lot of the houses here are built with concrete, a lot of tin roof buildings, open air. They try to get wind, not very good for mosquitoes or anything. I wanted to show this part, but my camera malfunctioned. The road gets really messed up down through here where they send a bunch of 18-wheelers and they just don't fix the road. Fortunately, the file cuts off right before the coolest part up here ahead. So, yeah, living here, I've been here about 3 years or so, been around the city a good bit. There's not a whole lot to do here. Most of the visitors and tourists come here mostly to head up the Amazon River into the jungle, and we're the last city that you can reach by the road, and so people come here for that, as well as we get a lot of people coming here to take ayahuasca, the hallucinogenic drug. So we do get some tourists for that. Otherwise, pretty much all the gringos you'll see will be missionaries. Also, they did discover what they call a boiling river nearby, and those are not unusual close to volcanic activity, but this far away it is very unusual, and I guess the way it heats is actually going down into the core of the earth and heating that way. So it's a pretty unusual find, pretty interesting, not too far from Pucallpa. Probably one of the coolest tourist destinations nearby here. I'd like to do a diagram about how the traffic actually flows through intersections and such. Nobody really keeps left or right, of the lane separated or anything like that. They just kind of get in there with whatever way they feel like it. And so it's very disorienting for people coming from westernized countries where we observe lanes. Be really scary for a long time, actually pretty much forever. So in Lima, in the capital, you'll find a lot of different foods and stuff. Here in the jungle, we have our food here that's a little different than what you find elsewhere in Peru. But otherwise, pretty much all we have here is a couple pizzerias, the chifas, and we do have a couple of the KFCs and Pizza Hut at the mall, but otherwise you don't find a whole lot of different types of foods like you do in Lima. In the U.S., I'd pretty much never considered, riding a motorcycle or anything like that because a lot of my friends and family had died on them, and I think it's really dangerous to drive them around cars for the most part in the U.S. at those speeds. However, here in Peru, this was a pretty good option for getting around town, and because I do ride on these motor cars fairly often, you just kind of have to get used to it, and you don't generally wear a helmet on those things or anything like that, especially as a passenger. And so after a little while of riding on those, realizing that there's not that many cars around on the road to hurt you anything worse than you would if you were on a motorcycle or on a motor car, I just decided it was worth learning, so I went ahead and started riding. So forgive the fact that I'm a new rider here, but I did want to mention that, the way that we have our seasons, the southern hemisphere is backwards from the northern. When it's summertime in the north, it'll be wintertime here and vice versa. But Pucallpa is strange because we have a rainy season and a dry season, and it actually goes pretty much the same way that it does in the northern hemisphere. We get our rainy season in the January, all that time, and that's what we're in now here. But it's interesting, even in the rainy season it'll be super blue and sunny for a couple days and just gets so hot eventually rains, and so almost any time you would find blue skies here for the most part, unless it's raining. But the temperature drops about, from 90, 95 degrees down to about 70, 75 degrees. So that little drop in temperature makes it feel really good, especially if you've lived here a while. So I wanted to get out and ride a little bit, take advantage of the weather. Wanted to mention that we do have a huge problem with street animals. You'll see street dogs like this all over the place, and unfortunately, they live a pretty hard life, and we finally have an animal shelter here in town. So if anybody watching this wants to donate even a small amount to that animal shelter, I'm sure it would help a lot, especially with exchange rates in Western countries. Just noticed there was a mechanic shop on the left-hand side there where the motor cars flipped over on their side so they could work on it. Those motor cars, you notice that they're everywhere. Well, most of those are taxi drivers, and they'll just pretty much pick you up. Anytime you're walking near the road, if you look like you might want one, they'll, wave up their arm or try to stop or honk at you or whatever. And so it's very easy here to get along without a vehicle. You can just pretty much get around anywhere. It's pretty much like that all over Peru, but it's pretty safe for the most part overall, and it's very inexpensive. So here, you can just walk out and throw up your arm like you're in New York City and get a ride right away pretty much. Now I didn't take you here in the main part of the downtown area. I'll save that for another ride. Right now I'm just learning and I'm trying to avoid, some of the main traffic areas. So, I try to stick to the back roads a little bit. The downtown is a little more modern, a little nicer as far as that goes. There are a couple cool shops and stuff down there. If any of you guys are interested in visiting Pucallpa, or you just have some questions about it or anything, feel free to ask in the comments and I'll let you know what I know. You just want suggestions for places to eat or what have you. Most tourists and visitors, whenever you come here, you want the authentic experience, and so you just try whatever's local. And I agree with that. You pretty much, it takes a while before you start to miss like wherever your home is. And so, after a while, I started looking for things like Mexican salsa and such. Alright guys, that pretty much concludes this video. I'd like to have done it much differently and much better. Hopefully I will do a video in the future on the traffic patterns and what to, look for and expect. But for now, this is going to be it, and take care guys.